Welcome into another episode of Discard for Magic. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron.
I'm your other host, James Rejectsic, and today we're having a lot of people on, and we're excited about it. We're here at Gen Con. This is unedited for the first time ever, so you have to hear whatever we happen to say. I will leave that to Donald.
Yeah, you got to listen till the end for that. To start out, we do have on a special guest. Harry is with us here today, and he won the Gen Con tournament. There was like 23 of us, and he beat all of us except James. He didn't beat James, but
we didn't play. So.
Yeah.
But Harry, you went 5-0 today.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I did pretty well as I could have done. I had a couple of hard games, like especially my one against you, Aaron, and my first game was quite hard as well. But I think I don't know, against all adversity, I have defeated the world's best Summoner Wars players. And
we're all washed, and teenagers are taking over.
Yeah.
First and second place were younger players, which is great to see. And you talked about our last game, which was the Isle Vekid versus the Swamp Orcs. It was a very good game. I took Waitui to the face. That was unpleasant. 7 damage right off the bat, like turn 3. That was a rough one. Trying to recover from that took a little bit.
Yeah. That was good. Good for you, I'm sure. It'll be fun for all the people, the old men here who have now
just catching strays.
You've just been beaten by teenagers. Person who came first has like 150 games only. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so you're saying you mostly play the physical game with like your friends and family?
Yeah. Mostly I just play live games with my dad. I have like 100 games that have been logged, plus another 30 or so that are unlogged. I do have a couple. I've tried the online a few times, but I've never really been able to get into it. You know?
So what are your favorite factions? I know you played Isle Vekid in the final round. Do you feel that was your strongest deck? Or?
I do think the Isle Vekid is probably my strongest deck. They're probably my favorite. And then up there as well, we got like Cloaks. I've been really liking the Wolves. I've played the
Moonstep Wolves. Yeah, new decks
for them. They're pretty fun. More so the like aggressive kind of puzzly factions are my favorite.
Yeah, aggressive was your MO in that final game.
It was.
It was a fun one.
Yeah.
Do you think that... So how did you choose like the order of your factions? Did you leave Isle Vekid for the last game on purpose? Did you have a set order for all 5? Or?
Well, to be honest, I kind of just wrote them down on the spot. But if I was thinking about strategy, I tried to front load a little bit with my stronger decks of like the Cloaks and the Filth. I played those in my first 2 games. Those are more of my stronger decks. But then I also put down my last deck as just the final, just in case I get to the final. You know, I want to have a strong deck for it. So I do think my 3rd and 4th decks of Obsidian Dwarves and Drakes on Rebellion were a little bit. I'm not quite as strong with them, but things still went well, and I won those games.
Yeah, you played some interesting strategies as the Isle Vekid. I mentioned Waitui already, but you played all 3 champs.
Yeah, things just cards just came out in the right order. I think you had a lot of, and just by the nature of the Swamp Orcs, there was a lot of. I was just kind of killing your units a lot, which led me to get a lot of magic. I drew a lot of like my.
Commons?
My weaker commons at the
Snipers
beginning, snipers and the Crab Knights. Yeah.
I was going to bring up the Crab Knight because you didn't play a single Crab Knight.
No. I actually drew all 4 Crab Knights in my starting hand and sold them all.
Yeah, and then you told me afterwards Crab Knights are terrible.
Cards for Magic.
Yeah. He does discard for Magic.
I hate the Crab Knight, to be honest. They're like my
That's
least favorite common in the deck by far.
Yeah, I think I think Nessie said he likes them, right?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of Iovecid players, I think, only play like a couple because they're just so expensive. But not having that extra tough ability on Roko the entire game. I mean, I couldn't really take shots at Roko because you were.
Yeah, I felt like that game, a big thing I was trying to do was always have something that you had to kill before you could get to my summoner. Like, at the beginning, of course, it was Waitui. You
Yep.
obviously have to kill Waitui at the start. And then I also played Sokka and Tarenga. I mean, Tarenga kind of got wasted, to be honest. You, like, played a gate and boxed him out. But both of those two champions are like, if they're on the board, you're kind of forced to put a lot of resources into killing them. So I don't know the Swamp Orcs all that well, to be honest. So I feel like I might have been able to play against them a little bit better if I knew them a little bit better. But I think I did decent trying to kill your units that have a lot of boosts.
Although Aaron did regret not just going for the summoner at one point in time. He said he had a shot where he could have won if he went 11 out of 12. So
Yeah. It was a low shot, but what happened afterwards made me regret not taking that shot. I could have rolled 12 melee dice with Mug and just went for Roko's face, but I would have most likely died after that because you would have rebutted probably with like 8 dice and I had like 3 health.
Oh, yeah, for sure, because I had like a Island Smite in my hand at that time too. So if you had come up, you were definitely getting hit.
Yeah. But what happened after made me regret it because I didn't get that shot again. You at one point, I didn't realize that you didn't know like Muglug's ability because you were like, you can just kill me. You have so much dice. And I was like, what am I missing here? But you thought you could reap all the boosts.
Yeah, I
off
did.
every unit?
I messed that up. I was playing.
And I was like, I can only get 3 extra dice here. And you're like, no, they have 3 boosts each. So like, just get the 9 extra dice. And I was like, I wish that's how that worked. That would have saved me a lot doing this game. No, but you played very well. You kept the pressure on me the entire time. Definitely cut down my swamp. And I always was dealing with something, whether it was Sokka or Waitui or Tarenga. I mean, maybe even I should have taken the shot at Tarenga and kept that gate in front, so I could have survived a little bit longer. But who knows how that would have played out. I was running lower on time as well, so that could have played a factor.
I mean, at the end there, we had like 20 seconds each on our timer.
Yeah, we were both real low. It had taken quite a while.
Yeah.
I think I had like 20 seconds, and you had like a minute and 20 seconds, but it was rough. And partly because like my second or third to last turn, I took like 3 minutes just like staring at the board, like how do I get past this? And then I didn't.
I mean, the 25-minute timer is real, I think.
Yeah.
Especially for those of us coming from playing a lot of online games, where you might have 3 or even 14 days to finish a game.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've been trying to like train myself in playing 45-minute games, like 2 or 3 at a time. But even still, it didn't prepare me for like how similar some of the art looks. Like when I'm digging through my discard pile for like the Winged Mutant among all the malignant cultists, and I was just like, where's this card? I know it's in here. Watching the clock tick down.
Yeah. When I was watching, I played the Filth as well, and I was having the same problems. And then I was watching OL play a later game, and the discard pile was just everywhere. And I was like, that's the way you do it, because you can just see all your mutants are just there displayed everywhere, and you can be like, I need that one right now, and just pull it and help you out.
So maybe we need an addendum to the rules of tournaments. So allow you to play with your face up if you want to.
Yeah, I do think I kind of have a bit of an advantage with always playing on like in person, because like I just know how to go faster in person and kind of, I don't know, not have to, because like if you're playing online, the interface kind of does everything for you, but when you're doing it in person, you have to do all that admin yourself. So I think it is.
Yeah, and like I hadn't struggled with time throughout the entire tournament really. I had pretty good time for all of it, but I saved my most brain-burning, time-consuming deck for my last deck, and that was probably a mistake. And so I think that played a little bit of a factor too. Not a huge factor, but a little bit. You specifically, James, took a lot of decks that were like faster decks, so you didn't have that problem.
I think the only one, like the Filters were kind of turned around for me, because I hadn't played them as much physical. I'd been doing well with them online a bit, and I thought, I'll play the Filth. they're fun and they can still play pretty aggressively, but that winged mutant, I don't know where it was.
Every malignant cultist looks like the winged mutant.
But
the winged mutant does have wings.
it does, yeah.
They're down on the card. You know?
I don't look at the wings, you know. No.
You gotta look a winged mutant in the face, otherwise
Yeah, of course.
it senses fear. You know.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. Is there any other things you'd like to say to a new aspiring Summoner Wars player?
Would you like to address your haters?
To a new Summoner Wars player, I mean, to be honest, if you're just starting out for the first time, I think you're best off like doing like more so just kind of pick a deck and stick with it. Is if you're trying to learn how to play the game rather than playing like doing all the decks at once. Like eventually you gotta play a few games with all the decks. Even I have not I don't think I've played every deck, to be honest. Like there's got to be a couple of decks that I just don't have a game in with because I just haven't played that much. But
yeah. I'm with you. I prefer to play a few decks a lot. There are some decks that I've jokingly said I'd rather play another game than play certain kingdoms, you know.
Certain kingdoms. He said certain fallen kingdoms. Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I don't jump into all 32 right away. I mean, there's a lot of decks out there. But, I mean, I think you still got some room to grow then. If you haven't even played every deck, I mean, once you've played every deck, we'll have you back and we'll see.
We'll see my thoughts after I have like 10 games.
Maybe by next year you'll have 10 games with every deck, and then you'll beat us again.
Yeah, that would be great.
Harry, we appreciate having you on, and thanks for playing in the tournament. I mean, it's a great time.
Sure. I feel like I'm still like elated that I got to be on the podcast.
So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to call up Mr. Bistro and Justin Zimmerman to discuss the collaboration between Plaid Hat and BattleQuest Comics in making a comic for Summoner Wars, which we're all pretty excited about. Yeah, come on up.
You sound pumped.
But no, yeah, Colby and I'm excited about it too because one little thing, they asked me to help make a card. So I designed a card that's coming in the first issue. If you get the right, like the B cover, is it?
B cover.
The B cover. You get the B cover, you get what's his name?
Mortal Elion.
It's not a Mortal Alien. It's Alien in Exile.
That's right.
And
Another take.
so there were some haters about this online because they were saying that like he doesn't do what Prince Alien did in first edition. So I have two things to say about that. One, this is
Tell the haters.
First edition.
First edition.
It's not first edition. And two, his name is not Prince Alien anymore. It's Alien in Exile. He's a different guy. He's had a different story.
Yeah.
Why should he do the exact same thing that he did in the past?
He's not undead this time. He's banished. Completely different. Completely different.
So yeah, but
I'm glad we cleared that up. So about the comic.
So how did this come about? Because I imagine that you, and maybe I'm wrong, Dustin, but did you know about Summoner Wars beforehand?
Oh no, you're correct. What
So-
I did know about was Mr. David Richards, who's a good buddy of mine, and we. I mean, that's kind of what's so cool about this project to me is because the genesis of this really did come out of two friends who were like, "Wow, wouldn't it be neat to work together on something?" And so I'd been following Plaid Hat for some time. He'd been checking out BattleQuest comics for some time, and finally it just kind of came together that we might be able to pitch to our respective betters, Colby and Drew, that a collaboration might be in order. And Summoner Wars was picked out of this, and I'm very glad about that. The first thing that we got to do once we got the ball rolling was starting to work with Mr. Bistro here, who's just a wealth of knowledge and an incredible guy. And yeah, it's been an absolute blast. So
I'm gonna cut that part out.
Yeah,
I did say I wasn't gonna edit the podcast, but I'm gonna edit that part.
went too far. But yeah, it's we could talk about the comic or the art or when it's coming out, but really what's important is that everybody involved in this comic really cared about the story and the characters and trying to do something neat, not only in the comic book world, but also in the game world. Shazam.
So, since you didn't know about Summon Wars to begin with, have you played Summon Wars since?
Oh no, not a lick. I love it when you guys talk about it because it's kind of like another foreign language.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when I start talking about comics, and inevitably you'll be like, "Oh, I just really wish you would be quiet," because it will also be a foreign language in the sense that I went through every single character, I went through every single background, I got into all the lore, I got the Dropbox for the entire history of the project and literally went through every single file. Part of storytelling to me is about trying to come at it from the point of view of the audience. And the audience wasn't just going to be Summoner Wars fans. It was going to be what I would call civilians. And so that was what was so cool about working with Mr. Bistro on breaking the story, was that we knew we would have a beating heart of this thing that would appeal to not only civilians, but also Summoner Wars fans. And if you read the comic as a civilian, I think you'll be blown away. But if you're a Summoner Wars fan from the beginning, there will be a ton of stuff that will be just for you. It won't be distracting to a new reader, but I think you will see yourself reflected in all of the cool things that happen issue by issue by issue. And I'm pretty proud of that, because that is a hard thing to balance for sure.
Yeah, and Mr. Bistro, this is not the first comic that Plaid Hat's even had. Plaid Hat sort of has a history of comic books a little bit. Do you want to talk about that?
I really can't, because the only comic we did before was the Dead of Winter comic that I remember, and I really wasn't involved with that at all. I don't remember Plaid Hat was really involved too much in that story, but yeah, that's the Sparky stunt dog, right?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. So I couldn't tell you much about that. Yeah.
But so how's it go? Like, I mean, you've worked, Plaid Hat for a long time now, doing pretty much all the story stuff. Like, you're you're the guru of all the games. How was the relationship between you and Justin in terms of translating your stuff into something that would fit in like a comic book script?
I mean, pretty easy. It's being in games. It's a super collaborative industry. So even if you make a game, a bunch of other people are going to have their hands in it. So that's just the way it works. It's a lot like film and television, things like that. So very similar here. We didn't want to define things too much for them. So I also work with Drew, who owns BattleQuest Comics.
Yeah, family-owned business, family-owned comic book company, which is pretty cool.
So two of us hammered out the story. I just wanted to make sure that it fit Summoner Wars, it fit the feel. And I also, there's a bunch of first edition stuff we could reference but make it new. Just little things that fans would get excited about, but also create a really good story in general. So Drew and I would hammer out the story, would feed it to Justin. He would script it out, and then eventually at some point he passed on to Paul, who would then do the official writing. And yeah, so it's super collaborative every step of the way.
Different from most comic book projects in the sense that the writing went back and forth again. The story was turned into a script for the artist, Patrick Maki, by me. The art would come back. I would compile all the art, revise my script a little bit, and send it to Paul. Paul Cornell is an incredible UK fantasy writer, writes for Doctor Who, he's written novels, he's written comics galore. That would come back to me. I would write on top of that. Then we would have that lettered. That would then be sent back to Bistro and Colby, who would then go through that. And once that was sent back to me, we would have a copy edited. And then technically that was when it was finished. So
Just like wrong.
There was some, again, incredibly generous notes. Times when Bistro would even say, these are the two things that I most want to address, but here are some other things I think are important. We always tackled every single one of them. But even that was simple as could be. And a lot of it was just making sure that the artist, Patrick, and then the color artists, who are Mo Hollowell and Will Quinta, just had what they needed in order to craft a purely visual story. Because writing is, dialogue is really helpful, but sequential art needs to work on the page. So if you can't tell the story or figure out what's going on by the facial expressions and by how the pages are laid out, then we failed before we began. So in that sense, it had a couple extra steps than a normal comic book script process, but really, really, really worked out well. And again, it's a testament to everybody involved.
Are there, I mean, yeah, I'm guessing the answer is yes, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. Are there like direct references to cards or mechanics and things like that people get excited about? Like, oh, I can't believe this.
Absolutely not. What we wanted to do with this comic was to make sure that if excitement reared its head, we would kill it as soon as possible.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. This isn't Summon Wars, is what most people should say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not my Summon Wars.
But interestingly, though, like, so I'd write out the story and in my head. Anytime you write, like, there's just details your brain's filling in that you're not thinking about actually providing. And then I pass it along. And so they would be interpreting things, and there'd be lots of moments where we're like, well, that's not right. And then stop, sit on it for a while, and be like, it's just someone else's interpretation. That's cool. Let's go with it.
So, Justin, question for you. Does BattleQuest often do comics on IPs, like on board games? Is this like a normal thing, or was this out of the ordinary?
No, I mean, BattleQuest Comics has always been either in-house titles or creator-owned titles. And so this, again, was kind of an organic outgrowth of a couple of things. One, David and my relationship. Two, Plaid Hat being a really cool, nimble team just like we were. But three, I think our titles have always had a kind of IGN wrote this big article when we first launched, and they were talking about how they could see our stuff right next to tabletop games and in game stores. And so we've always had one foot in that realm. So this, in a lot of ways, I mean, when people look at the history of things, they usually go, oh, A plus B equals C or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But a lot of life is about people meeting other people, having solid relationships, and kind of trusting each other to do something cool. And so that's what's neat about this comic and even Gen Con is we're right here at the beginning, even though the project is coming to an end. For everybody else, it's just the beginning. And the book came out of the book and the company both kind of worked together in the sense that we were looking for this kind of thing all along, and we were able to find an organic and I think a pretty remarkable way.
We were kind of good for it too, because in first edition we wrote tons of stuff, lots of stuff. The tone didn't fit at all, so we knew we wanted to move away from it. But when we did second edition, I really wasn't sure how much we should do, so we kind of just left it. And then when the comic opportunity came, like, well, that's perfect. So I think Colby's initial vision when he's talking about second edition and the art, he said I want to have more of a Saturday, morning cartoon kind of feel to it, as opposed to some of the dark storylines we did before. And this was a great way to sort of like match that, not exactly, but to sort of find a great way for us to tell stories in Summon Wars that totally establishes second edition as something completely unique and standalone, even if we do wink at a few older things.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is off topic, but the fact that the artist of this book, who's done a remarkable job, his name is Patrick Macchi. He's from Italy, and I worked with this cover artist for a long time named Leo Cola Pietro. And he sent me an email just one day, and he was like, there's this artist I know here in Italy, and his work makes my heart hurt. I was like, well, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. And he said, would you look at him? And so I chatted with him. He's super shy, but we did a Zoom meeting. Remarkable gentleman. And so I had him do some pinups, and I had him do some cover work. And I was like, I think we need to give this guy a shot. He'd done a couple major pitches for companies, but they fell apart. And this is his first major project, and he attacked this with everything.
You wouldn't know it looking at it either. It's great.
No, it's astounding.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amongst the best comic art I've seen. But by that token, here is another organic process that happened. This was the project that needed to come along at the right time for him. And then matching him with Mo Hollowell, who colors everything for Marvel. I mean, he colored Civil War and Civil War II and Spider-Man. And so you have a younger talent and a more established talent making something really remarkable. And to me, when someone opens this book, I think they won't think about any of that stuff. They'll just be blown away by how neat it looks. But there's a story even underneath the people who are making each and every one of these pages.
No, that's super cool.
So you brought Colby.
Colby's done.
But you've seen this book. What do you guys think about it?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I cracked it open and I was like, I want to read this before I play this game that I'm playing tonight. the other day, I was like, I want to sit down with this and just, you know, get into it. And I'm not normally a big comic fan, but obviously if you're going to put Summoner Wars in it, I'm going to take a look. So that's where I'm coming at. But no, I do think the art is good, and I've been waiting for more from the lore aspect of the game, because that's something we've been getting at. Questions asked are people wanting to see, so I think it's a good thing.
He just wants to know if the Wayfarers are in it.
Oh, no.
Major character.
Yeah.
She should be, but
No, you bring up a good point, James. Like, there's a good portion of the community that has always wanted more lore, and I think this is a great way to do it. Doing a comic is such a fun idea, and I haven't read the whole book yet, but I've really enjoyed what I've read so far. And yes, James does think that the Wayfarers should be the main characters of the comic book.
We got our first negative review, and the book's not even out yet. We're in a lot of trouble.
no, like. What I was thinking is that, I mean, you guys don't have to take any of this, but
the book's done.
He already asked me if I wanted to hear his idea for a Wayfarers comic story.
No,
So.
but even further, I'm thinking like, okay, there are characters in the game, and we have, even after the ones Donald's going to talk about, there's still like 24 more summoners to go. So I was thinking it'd be neat if down the road things happen in the world of the comic that can that can inform new like character shifts. Like if Sarah Eldon's the main character, maybe she has a change of heart, and that's a different summoner for like 44 or something that does something different.
Well, I mean, I think that's one of the coolest things about this kind of work is that it's open enough. And this isn't just Summoner Wars, this is all these games where you could find interesting stories or interesting characters and kind of break that out and tell them. And if I have one kind of quiet hope, it's that no matter what happens with Summoner Wars or even Battle Quest comics, that Plaid Hat really takes something from this, because I think there should be more comics in the world, and I think there should be more reading in the world, and I think it's additive. I don't think it takes away from a larger property to tell a singular story, because you're right, you can just take one point of view and it doesn't affect everything else, it just affects that one story. So, you know, there are the stories that you create when you're playing a game, the emergent storytelling or what you work on with your friends. Something like this is more directed, but that's a tribute to the game itself, that there is that much excitement around certain characters or certain conflicts. I mean, there is no story without conflict. And there's certainly plenty of that in the world and plenty of that in games. But when you have a story when you have characters that deal with conflict and somehow persevere, I think that's helpful for everybody.
And like when we did the alien card, he's alien in exiles because it's specifically referring to alien at this point in time. So there could be another alien card later on. Absolutely. So.
Immortal. Yeah, maybe in later iterations, maybe it's Sarah in exile. You never know. You never know what could happen. Justin, so is this... I'm going to ask you the tough questions now.
I guarantee you it's not going to be a tough question.
It's a tough question. Is this the favorite comic book that you've ever worked on?
No, I mean that's like asking. It's like asking a parent like which of their kids is their favorite. There's no backpedaling. I mean, some of you hate your children. I've got some.
Only the ones that win tournaments. Only the ones that win tournaments.
I mean, to me, every comic, everything you work on should have a certain challenge to it, something new to you. And this one certainly had its own set of challenges. But anything I was concerned about at the beginning was completely alleviated by the people I was working with. Everybody just killed it, page after page after page. And so this is not a favorite to me any more than Gen Con is the most exciting weekend I've ever had. But I'll tell you this, I've never been to Gen Con before. I feel so grateful to be here because of Plaid Hat. I've learned so much already. And the community here and the way people treat each other, the way the whole event is run, has really been inspirational to me. So I feel like I don't ever want to be a great writer. I'll never be a great writer because I can always learn something. I can always challenge myself in a new way. And I will tell you that I'm really proud of what we've accomplished here. We still have to get this to the fans 1 month after the next, so we still have work to do over the next 6 months. But the word I would use would be grateful for being able to participate in this. Except for Colby.
Except for Colby. Oof.
Those short, succinct emails really kept me up at night.
That's Colby for you. And there are 4 comics coming out, correct?
Yeah, so the first issue's over. I mean, normal comics are around 20 pages. The first issue's like 34 pages. The second and the third are 28, and the fourth is 44. So we really put it. We left it all in the field. So and each one I think is better than the next.
For sure.
Yeah. So sorry, Bistro.
No. I absolutely agree. Yeah, I can't wait for people to see the 4th one because it's pretty cool.
It's insane.
Is there, I know you just said that the first one's going to come out in potentially September. Is there like a timeline to expect the rest? Like tentatively, would it be sometime in the year after, or?
I think the dates that are important for real are the pre-order dates. So the first issue, you can go to your local comic store, which please support. They need all the help that they can get, and pre-order the series or at least the first issue. And you can do that by August 17th, so a couple weeks from now. And the 1A cover is $4.99, and that's the cool Martin cover. And the 1B cover is the cool Patrick and Mo cover, and that's polybagged with the exclusive card. And that's $6.99. And once those are gone, they're gone, and it's going to sell out. So, but you can pre-order the whole series. So the second issue comes out in October, the third in November, and the fourth in the beginning of January. And yeah, I mean, comic store, if you don't have a comic book store close to you, you can order from Midtown Comics or an online store. But yeah, over the next couple of weeks, do that and you support everybody.
Awesome. Any last things you guys want to say on the podcast? Any last words for the listeners?
I can go first.
No.
Oh,
I can't think of anything offhand. I think if you like Summoner Wars, I think you'll find it satisfying. We use it as an opportunity to tell a story that kind of needed to be told anyway. We've always talked about how Rhett Tallis is the big bad of Summoner Wars, how he dominated everything for a long time. But if you played the game, you know Rhett Tallis is just another summoner, right? And it's fairly evenly matched. So we're telling the story of how he became who he was and how he's ended up where he is now. So along with telling other stories like how, Sarah developed and became who she was as a summoner and so on. So I think there's a lot to find gratifying if you're a Summoner Wars fan.
yeah, I'll just say that besides the fact that it's a badass comic book, it also has some real moments of levity and hilarity. There's a lot packed into each and every one of these issues. And the DNA of Summoner Wars is even embedded in the covers themselves, which all the A covers were drawn by Martin Abel, who is the character designer. I don't think his work has ever looked better. And part of that's because David Richards, who we talked about at the very beginning of the show, make sure every single one of his pieces is ready for print once it comes in. So all of the pieces from both companies are represented across the board, and even that friendship with Dave and me represented in each one of these issues. So when I say you leave things on the field, we left it all on the field for everybody. We just hope they have a blast.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming on the podcast and sharing some info about the comic books. Now we have on our special guest, Donald, to talk about the upcoming factions and Kickstarter at some point. So unless you're a playtester, this is going to be a lot of new information for you, right, Donald?
That's right. That kid who was up here earlier, Henry?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Harry.
Harry? I don't even know. You lost to him?
Assume, yeah.
Right before we started, I beat him 3 times in a row. Makes you wonder.
If only you had signed up for the tournament.
Who has the time?
So, Donald, you've been working on a lot of new factions.
Yes.
And they're all coming out in a master set of sorts. Another, complete set.
Yeah. I don't think it has a name yet,
Yeah.
but
Mystery campaign set.
yeah,
I'm gonna say campaign.
campaign
set.
set, advanced set, I don't know.
'Cause,
But yeah.
I think there was one point in time where you said we're going to make 6 easy to play decks, and then you designed them like, no, these are not easy to play.
I think we realized that the Kickstarter can serve as an on-ramp regardless of if you're new to Summoner Wars, those master set decks are still competitive and they're still fun to play.
Tell them to buy that too.
Exactly. Yeah, we can on-ramp you there and then go if you're excited, you can get this campaign deck which has ability to string together a narrative throughout various Summoner Wars games and level up your units. It has terrain rules with various terrain cards and stuff like that. And even if you don't care about any of that, it has 6 wacky factions.
Speaking of wacky, there's one called the Chaos Imps. Can you tell us
Chaos
about
Imps.
them?
They are chaos.
Chaos Imps. They fluctuate because they're still in play testing. But the idea started as what if a faction did not have a limit on how many times it could attack or move.
That is the case, yeah.
All of the factions kind of, start with an assumption of what is a core foundational idea in the game that we could play with. I'm a big fan of the game Blood Bowl, big Blood Bowl player, and in that game you get 12 activations unless you bust.
And you just fumble the ball.
And then it's awful. It's the worst thing that's ever happened, and it makes you really think about your turns in a very unique, weird way, where you're sort of weighing priorities. And I wanted to bring some of that feeling to some crazy little freaks, and we did.
So just have to push your luck element to it then.
For sure, that's the hope. Yeah, they're Summoner Prince Isfet is a angry little goth teenager, and he can summon little devils who break the laws of reality. And he loses his mind the more he plays with that tool. And I don't know how much people want me to say. I don't want to spoil stuff. But
They do want you to
Spoil
play.
all of it. That's what they want. Even if it changes.
Even if it
want-
changes.
Just say, okay, it changed.
They want to know
Yeah, long
everything.
story short, he can attack as many times as he wants, but if he rolls 2 specials on an attack, he has to discard a card from his hand. And it has sort of a unique feeling of cards in your hand. Because they're all little cheap guys, the imps, it creates kind of a unique feeling of dealing with the economy in a way that I think is less intuitive for newer players, thinking about the value of discarding a card in unique ways. But I think it's also very intuitive because you just have a set amount of cards in your hand every turn. It took a long time to land there. We've done a lot of different iterations, but I think overall the feedback has been positive, and most importantly, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if Colby or the community likes it, but Donald likes it, so we're going with it. It's good.
We have a process where I will say a stupid idea, and then Joe will
tree is big or something.
Right, tree big. What if werewolf or whatever, and then usually what happens is I'll go into the office, and no joke, there will be a day where Colby or Joe will sit down with me and show me why it actually cannot work. Why what I'm doing, oh, that will not function.
Yeah, that's bad. That's a bad idea.
we clean it up, and then once the playtesters get a hold of it, they torture me and torment me and make fun of me, and then eventually Nick just takes it and makes it actually good. It's a perfect process.
Never been better.
There's no weak link in that process. Don't think too hard about it.
Yeah, imagine if Nick started at the beginning, and then we'd have like Wayfarers or something.
I know, you'd have like one that everyone likes.
Yeah.
Although only 3 people took the Wayfarers today, I noticed, which was surprising.
And yet,
Tragic.
no one took Imps.
Not yet. Not yet.
But that's true. That's a Nick. That's a Nick.
Yeah.
Nick one.
Yeah.
I will say, Nick is my greatest champion. I feel within Plaid Hat. I feel like whenever I go like I got this idea that's very stupid, Nick will happily be like, yeah, that's stupid. We should do that stupid thing.
Yeah, like when we had you guys on the podcast to talk about the Chosen Grove before they came out,
Yeah.
and you were telling them just like, what if it was a giant tree and it couldn't move?
Yeah.
And he
yeah.
was like, do it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I very Nick when he comes to town will sometimes have to crash at my house, and that means he's like just subjected to a barrage of me talking. And
He can't escape your ideas.
And through those brainstorming, you know, we've like talked about so many Summoner Wars decks that there's just sort of a stockpile of like half ideas that someday, you know. We just have a little doc with just like we talked about
So
these.
what I'm hearing is it's not going to stop at 66. We're going way past. Donald's got 100 factions in the tank, and it's not stopping.
Brother, I wrote one on the way here. It's in my notes app.
I mean, speaking of the one that you wrote first for this grouping, that was the Blackbog Groaks,
Yeah.
whereas you affectionately call them the Sewer
The
Groaks.
sewer groaks. Their deck building symbols are piss and shit. Canonically.
But they're actually something different now. They fit in
Changed to
well.
something dumb. I don't
Yeah.
remember what. Yeah, the Blackbog Groaks, or people call them the pinball frogs. Their whole thing is movement tricks just all across the board. They're slimy, they're covered in slime, and they can slide really far. And there was a time when I pitched this that Colby was like, I don't really feel like this is a sort of game that can support like silly animal people. And then the squirrels somehow came out before the slide frogs. Yeah. But they're super fun. It was very funny because I had like on the Discord with the playtesters, I kind of had this like very nervous attitude because they're all so good at the game and they all have so much knowledge between them. And like I was very much viewing them as like, we should have like one dumb one. Like in any good game, there's like in Street Fighter, there's always Dan. Yeah, there's always like one character that's like, you use this to flex on someone. Like I beat you with this faction that everyone knows sucks. And I was like, these guys could be that. And I was like mentally preparing the playtesters, like they're just supposed to be funny as long as they're fun. I think it'll be okay to have one faction and a box of 6 that sucks. And then like the playtesting like results came in and they had like an 86% win rate, which shows how bad I am at the game. I was playing them and was like incapable of winning, and then people were posting videos of like one-turn kills on summoners and stuff in the starting setup.
Yeah, and honestly, as one of those playtesters, they're my favorite of the grouping so far. They're a lot of fun. The movement tricks are real. You can slide anywhere, and you can slide back and forth. And there's little like bumper bugs, and
Yep.
the sliding never ends.
Yep. Yeah, that was like the first note. All the playtesters were literally like, not even as a note, but just as a like, this must be a mistake. People were going like, is it supposed to just not say once per turn? Like that came up a lot, and it was like, they can just bounce around, man.
And one of their champs just can go the entire length of the battlefield through any unit, which is a lot of fun. So that's crazy. They just have a lot of different bugs and frogs that can do a lot of fun stuff.
That's right. They're fun.
but apparently they're also good, and you did that by accident.
Trying to make them worse. That's the goal now. Trying to make them weaker without losing the fun, which is tricky, but I feel like we're getting there.
Yeah.
And that's Nick work. I don't really bother with that part of it.
Leave that to Nick to balance them out.
Yeah.
I don't know how deep we want to dive on them, but their summoner Plek.
All other names are just like onomatopoeia. Like,
has this ability to when Plek attacks, it can be a friendly unit or an enemy unit, and can just launch that unit. Just tongue lash that unit into oblivion.
Instead of hurting them, he just like pushes them away.
I don't want to see anymore.
Yeah, and then the units who are like covered in slime, like they just keep going.
And when they stop, it hurts.
Yeah, and then they crash into you and they hurt everyone nearby.
It's just frog bowling.
Yeah, and then so it's fun though when you watch somebody who's really good with them, because people will post these videos where they set up these crazy zigzag chains, where it like goes up and then bounces off a thing and goes up and goes around, and like even when it's not that good, it looks really fun. Like it's really cool.
And then at one point, this like pinball machine just drops on, and you're like, new high score.
Exactly. It is one of those factions that can pop up in games where definitely I will get sucked into trying to pull off something really neat. That's maybe not the best thing I could have done with my turn, you know what I mean? It's like, but look at all the stuff that happened.
My summoner is so dead, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I build those decks in Slay the Spire a lot, where it's just like, I played a lot of cards before I died.
They didn't do a whole lot, but I played them.
The squirrels are like that for me lately, where it's like, I don't know, maybe I'll just fit as many squirrels inside this lumber wheel as I can, just to see what'll happen.
That's right, yeah.
And there was a guy who posted videos like, I made 14 attacks this turn, I had 7 guys come out of every little structure, and he didn't win that turn. Surely you could have done it a little differently.
Something people might find interesting is the way the playtesting process is working, where we have 2 teams of playtesters, and one is the team that I'm mostly working with, which is more about like making the deck feel like fun and exciting to like a normal person. Like as a set of cards on a Kickstarter, you'd want to look at it and go like, those guys seem really fun. I understand what I'm supposed to do with them. Like from the starting setup, I look at it and the strategy is very clear. The cards do fun thematic things, and then the other team is like making it like fair and like competitive and exciting, and when it's working those 2 things in tandem, it's really fun. And then there's a third team, which is like Jexic or someone sending me a concerned message. Where it'll be like, I think deck building, you might have ruined it. If you leave this the way it is, this can't stay the way it is. It's gonna break deck building.
Donald, you need to get Nick involved in the process earlier.
Yeah, Nick's really concerned about deck building.
Starting snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's an A team and a B team. Not correlation to how good they are,
No.
but some got drafted first, so that's all I gotta say. And the A team is really focusing on balance, and the B team is really focusing on let's make sure that we have like a surface level of balance, but more importantly, fun. Let's focus on the fun. Make sure these abilities are fun to play with, and like make sure that they're thematic and that they do cool things.
Yeah. My daughter's friends all play. They're all like a bunch of 9-year-olds, and that's like a test as well. Like, do they get hyped? You know what I mean? I try to keep that in mind. And like the young man earlier was saying, playing in physical is another thing that's always hard to keep in mind, because you can get so much playtesting done in SWO, and it does so many of those processes for you. But people who like this on Kickstarter and get a box of 6 are not going to start that way. And a lot of these decks have a lot of moving parts, and you want to make sure that like in a physical thing, you're not just like doing a dexterity game. And
speaking of physical, I don't know if the Groaks would really translate to like a 25-minute time clock in a tournament like that. The Blackbog Groaks, that is, not the current Groaks. It'd just be like Polar Dwarves on steroids with their ice ram shift puzzles.
Skill issues.
Yeah, skill issues. Just get fast. Get
good. But we got this new crop of youngsters coming into the game. You don't even know, man.
I mean, their hand-eye coordination is probably better than most of ours. So.
That's right. Y'all can't even figure out your own discard piles, and you're concerned about it.
But there's also a Vargath coming back in this section. So we had new Groaks and we got new Vargath.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Lonepeak?
The Lonepeak Vargath. Long, long ago, there was a schism in the Vargath culture, and the Lonepeak Vargath rejected the way of the herd. They said that the herd makes you weak. That everyone is best when they can stand on their own. And they're like gun nut libertarian goats that live on the tallest part of the mountain, and they just stockpile weapons. They literally worship weapons as like holy items. They're like their guns are covered in like trinkets and stuff. They have a unit that's literally a
gun cultist?
A gun
cultist, yep.
And when he dies, the spirit enchants a gun.
Yeah. The gun cultist, yep, you heard it there right. If you thought Vargath would never have a cultist, you're wrong.
Right. Once they left Team B, it was set in stone. He's a gun cultist. Sorry. But yeah. Their summoner is Igor. He is a beast. And their thing is if they are by themselves, they get stronger. So a lot of the times in Summoner Wars, I found, as a mediocre player at least, frequently I'm trying to like crowd the enemy summoner and make like sort of boxes of units and push them together. And there's no better example of that than like Mountain Vargath for me. Like that's how it feels best to play them, as in a formation that's just like a crushing. I don't want to leave gaps for some stupid little goblin to fly into the hole and like I want them to be smushed. And these guys like want to have space between them and other things, and they're oppressively strong when you let them do that, is the idea.
Yeah, you haven't played against the Storm Goblins, have you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I've played against the Storm Goblins. I don't know what's going on when it happens. I don't like it.
Putting all your units together on the Storm Goblins, that is going to be a rough time. But
yeah. I get, yeah.
The Lonepeak Vargath, they could deal with it because
they can.
They are very strong on their own, and Igor has the ability next to a structure to shoot diagonally, which is a new unique thing to Summoner Wars.
You can do diagonal ranged attacks, which is tormenting when you're trying to approach him when he's near the back. And he can attack twice if he's not next to anyone. And they have a lot of units that can do that. And they have another unit that gets +1 strength for every empty, every non-unit adjacent to them. And they're all about self-sufficiency and survivalism, and they build traps because they're logic, and they do.
But the unit that gets a bonus for every space that's open next to him is a melee unit and has a club, not a gun. Doesn't worship the guns as much as the other ones.
Right.
And so it has to be adjacent at least once.
Right.
But
my favorite unit is Omar, the champion. Everybody.
Blunderbuss?
He's got a blunderbuss, he's got a giant shotgun, and he's got a ranged weapon that gets stronger the closer it is to you. He's the one guy who works sort of opposite of everyone else, but it just shoots. And so if your guys are crowding him, they're going to get hit with the spray of bullets. So you still want to give him some space. But he's super fun. He's got an event that he probably shouldn't be compatible with, but I put him straight into the art to stop anybody from fixing it. Called Behind Enemy Lines, if you damage the enemy gate, you can summon from it once, and you drop Omar over there, and it's a big problem.
Have done that. Yeah, just imagine a giant Vargath shows up behind you with a shotgun, and it doesn't go so well.
Yeah, it also makes it pretty fun because there's a weird like why'd you just hit my gate for one?
What are you doing?
Yeah, like you just do a little plink attack on the enemy gate, and it kind of makes it a little like, why do you do that? What is? Yeah. Some gentleman in the audience is shouting that it lets you attack during the attack phase. Summon during the attack phase. It's a good card.
Like initialism in the place as for broken stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sent it to
yeah.
Art. It's done.
It's in the art. He's in the attack phase in the art. If you look real close, he's in the attack
Look for the
phase.
arrival 2 years.
The game's coming out in 2 years.
But I love them. They're really fun to play. And they are my favorite type of Summoner Wars deck, in that they sort of offer a puzzle for each person to solve that feels very like obvious to the player on both ends of like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do against you. Like these guys, I'm supposed to rush them. I'm supposed to get in their face because they get really strong when I don't do that. And the other person, you can just look at your starting setup and go, I see. These guys don't want to be near anything. Like they want to be just alone.
They're really just germaphobes.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
the whole premise. They don't like people, germs.
Yeah, and if you zoom in, it's in the art too.
Really far.
Terrifying. How about the Mindfire Collective?
Yeah, what about them? They've been the problem child of the group.
They have indeed. Part of that's probably because of how much they deal with the cards.
Yeah, they're felt like a slam dunk at some point, and I still think they're going to be really good. They are a faction that originally was all about basically predicting the top card of the opponent's deck. And if you do that, you go off. Because we wanted to make a psychic card that felt psychic.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to make the player feel like, what if you made a deck where the player felt like they were doing the thing? And that's one of the very few symbols. Like, you can't necessarily punch the guy across from you in real life.
Yeah,
but
only with your mind.
we could do, like, guessing. And then they have units that can stack the opponent's deck. And there's not a ton of levers that you can pull on there before it makes the game completely unfun for the other person, and it can be powerfully oppressive the way it's working, which was kind of part of the idea. So it lets your opponent draw a lot of cards when you use it. You're just feeding them cards constantly, and those two things are in friction with each other. And sort of finding the balance of that friction as a balancing thing has been a journey.
And it's a weird experience. I don't know exactly where they are with each cards because I've been doing mostly with the B side for the play test, and they went to the A side. But
Too soon.
But when you're a faction playing against them and you realize, hey, if I draw my entire deck, they can't do anything, you're like, well, they made me draw a lot of cards. Should I discard all of them for Magic and draw more cards and then just play my biggest things?
Yes.
Or should I just keep the 11 cards I currently have in my hand and just try and kill them with that? Because some factions, when you get a lot of cards in hand, you can do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. Now, I will say, they've gone through 17 iterations at least, if not more. And there's more to go. And sometimes they have abilities that make them really strong when you deck the other opponent. And that is one thing we've played with, is like having her. Because the summoner is a person, a woman. She's called the Burning Lady, and she's a woman who is just permanently on fire. She has found a summoning stone, and she's covered in this psychic fire. And she only communicates to people through whispers. And they're like a hive mind sort of cult of worshippers. And part of the vibe, of the psychic thing and predicting the stuff off the top, we've played with perhaps like, she has like prophecies, and it's like, if I can deck you, like it's over for you. Like I ascend, that's sort of representation. But again, there's a lot of different moving parts that are changing. So who knows where they'll land? Maybe they'll come out and you guys will see them and you'll go like, these just say +1 strength.
These guys don't even make me draw any cards.
This is the Vanilla Matters deck.
Yeah, I mean, at one point they were like, the summoner's ability was if you predicted correctly the top card of your opponent's deck, then you could deal like 3 damage within a couple spaces to a common or champion. And so it just lets you, if you knew what was there, and there was some ways in the deck that you could sort of predict that, then you could just get a bunch of extra damage. But your summoner had to be close to it, and your summoner didn't have a ton of health. So it was like a little yin yang there of how close do I want to be, and I still want to do this damage. So
Yeah, ideally, the perfect vision of it is that it is a thing that sometimes you can guarantee it, but most of the time it's like a risky sort of gambit of like 50-50 chance that this is going to be awesome, but then finding that in a way that doesn't, feel bad is tricky because it's hard to communicate to the player through mechanics and art sometimes. But that's what design is, so we'll find it.
A couple more still. We got, what do you guys say about the Solar Elves? I heard they had a cool vibe.
I love the Solar Elves. Their summoner's name is Bliss. They are glam rock sort of elves. Very like Ziggy Stardust elves. And their whole thing is converting magic directly into boost. The guys from, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the game Slay the Spire. Actually, Slay the Spire 2 has a new sort of playable character called the Regent that is a direct ripoff of what we were doing with Solar Elves. The document was out there, but she's balancing sort of a secondary economy. She's funneling magic into boost and then using boost in unique ways, and she has an ability called Prism where she can take boost from her and sort of like spread it out amongst her units, who often have really strong abilities but like can be sort of useless or helpless if you're not keeping them boosted.
yeah, like actively useless or helpless, like cannot attack or like have different aspects so that they just can't be a part of the game if they don't have the boost to use. So you really got to keep that boost engine going.
Yeah, another one that definitely makes you engage with the economy in a different way. They love to discard cards. They're very magic hungry because they're just using magic to do other stuff. Like they're basically powering their abilities with magic directly. But when they're working, they're super fun, and I think they've got some pretty fun, wacky abilities. They originally were conceived as like a deck that was like all about like charging up like Dragon Ball Z and then like shooting light and like lines or whatever, and then it didn't even take one play. Like before we even got it to the table, I was like, maybe standing still not doing anything is actually not a super exciting theme for a deck in actuality. And then we played a couple times. There's one specific character that is an archer who cannot, if she's boosted, the first attack that hits her just does nothing, and it eats all of her boost. But she also needs boost to be able to attack. That Colby and I played an alpha game with before we made some adjustments to her, and I was able to stick her between two gates and just keep pumping her full boost, and it created this like sort of comically like impossible to surmount defense or whatever. And we've made some adjustments from there that feel better, but she's still a unit that we've been spending a lot of time trying to find the balance. I think one thing that's interesting is that the playtesters are so knowledgeable and so good at the game that sometimes they're coming to it with a very different view from like what a potential customer probably has, and you have to account for both, but the splashiness, the like very obviousness of ability, like there's many Summoner Wars decks that when I look at them, I'm kind of like, I 100% know what I'm supposed to do with these guys, or I don't 100% know why this unit is cool, and we don't want that. But then when you do those big splashy sort of very obvious abilities, there's like a reason that that's not what most of the units do, because it can create these very like off or on binary like big turns. Just trying to find the balance, but I think they're really fun. I think people are going to like them. I have played them quite a bit with the youths that I have played some campaign games with.
Is the glam rock fun with the youths?
Well, they don't have the glam rock art yet. That's not set in art yet. They could still be boring. There was a lot of I have a bone to pick with everyone in this room, actually. Because when we showed people the PDF of these, all anyone's feedback was like, let's rename them. And it was the longest conversation in the history of playtesting for this stupid game of people just pitching new names for the faction because they're like, well, there already is an SE. We can't stop referring to these things by 2-letter abbreviations. You have to change what you're doing to suit our shorthand. And so then it was like these conversations about like, what if they're called this? What? And then it turns into like, what if we just like, and then it literally at one point diverted into discussing like what it would look like if it was a deck of like cowboys with like ammo tokens. And so it went on
Off
journeys.
the rails.
Yeah.
We have the Lonepeak. We don't need that.
We do need that.
That's the deck you made on the way over, you're saying. But I wasn't part of that conversation, but I can see where they're coming from with the Savannah Elves and the Shadow Elves.
If only there was any other way to refer to something than the first 2 letters of the thing.
Donald,
and
saying the full name is hard.
At one point I said, like, what if, and then like 29 replies later, someone came in and was like, it might be time for us as a community to consider using 3 letters or something. Because if there's going to be 66 of these things, it's going to get confusing no matter what. And everyone was like, boo, shut up! Yeah, all 20 of you need to learn something.
Hey.
Unfortunately for us talking about the actual faction names, or the summoner name, I think as a shorthand. Let's say the name of the faction, say the name of the summoner to like...
I will say, as a really bad Summoner Wars player who plays mostly in physical with people who don't know what they're doing, like Colby, I do get embarrassed a lot where someone will send me a message and go, "Hey, you want to play test?" And I'll go, "Yeah," and they'll go, "All right, I'll do PE and you could be," and I'll like literally have to open the app and like look through and go, oh, "Okay, it's Phoenix Elves. All right, cool. I don't know what these things mean."
I mean, just means you have to play more online, Donald. That's what this coming
No,
down
it means
to.
I have to spend more time in the Discord.
Yeah.
Because when I play online, it just says what the deck is called.
Yeah. Which if you spent more time in the Discord, you would know there's not 20 of us. There's 2,300 of us.
Okay.
So there's a good-sized community.
Okay, non-Team B. Need more of you in Team B.
Yeah. Always looking for more playtesters. But
Yes. It's super valuable. I joke and I tease, but I hope that the people understand that, you know, I'm a very collaborative person when it comes to creative. I love bouncing ideas back and forth. I can talk all night about stuff. I love sort of arguing. I don't take it personally.
But at that end of that conversation, if he doesn't like it, he's pushing it through the art. He wants it set in stone. You know?
That's unfortunately a deadline problem that you run into when you've got to keep the game going and there's 6 it's like after a point, Colby just goes like, we have to keep making, like Martin can't draw them all in a week. Like we have to get the art done or else they'll never come out.
So we got one more faction left.
Yeah, and this one hasn't even hit the playtesters.
No.
So I don't know anything about this one. You want to tell us about the Darkwing Assembly, Donald?
Yeah, the Darkwing Ducks. Yeah, this started with Nick. They are a faction like mafioso birds. Their summoners, Vulture.
I thought you just said they were ducks.
Well, that's the trick. That's how they get you. They place bread tokens. No, they. No, but they've gone through some iterations because originally, when Nick had outlined them, we were viewing this as the new master set. And then the more we thought about what a campaign set is and that advanced level of play and the way a Kickstarter would be structured, the less and less sense that made, especially because the most fun decks we were coming up with were not particularly that simple. So they got reworked, and they are now a deck that is introducing a new and the only ever new probably token to Summoner Wars, which is a mark token. Every player has one mark token. Only summoners could mark someone, and it is a thing that enables units to have sort of new life on what sort of abilities you can give them, because it's a very restricted use of an ability. There was a lot of times during development where I'll float an idea of like, what if it just was boosted units, or what if you could like make a more interesting or exciting ability, but that had narrower scope. And that Colby had the idea of like, what if you literally were applying like a thing that says like, this unit I can do this to. It needs to watch out, you know. And we've played it in the office, Colby and I, and it was super fun. They have the most insane champion of all time, I think, currently. That was Nick's. Nick and I got into our only ever fight. We were screaming and crying, yelling at each other because I hate this bastard, but he demanded that he be in the game. His name is Dastardio currently. There's no way that's staying. But it's literally a champion that just kills your summoner and replaces it. So, and that's a Nick idea. That's not a Donald idea. This is what I'm saying. And yeah, it's pretty wild.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, and the fun thing I thought when I saw that one is that it can be played in deck building.
Right.
So you can just toss it in certain other decks. I won't say what symbol yet, but it just seemed like a fun thing to try.
Chosen Grove?
Wow. We should check to see if that's possible.
No, I think it was dark, but I don't know.
Yeah,
So
it probably doesn't work with
Yeah,
the deck symbols. That'd be wild.
I think they're dark air.
Yeah.
You went through 19 health of the tree? Well, too bad.
Yeah. But yeah, what we're dealing with that guy is making sure that he doesn't just feel like a heal on the summoner, and I think we've landed on. He's like more of a gear shift than it's not just like, haha, you thought my summoner was about to die. Now I have 9 health on my new summoner. It's more like, now my summoner does this other thing that also synergizes with the rest of the deck, but in a different way.
It's like your summoner's vigilante side, you know?
Yeah. They're
One's Bruce Wayne and one's Batman.
You bring those two people up in the same conversation.
Not related at
The
all.
billionaire philanthropist? Okay. The criminal
All right.
who the police are after? Okay.
But you were saying you can put a hit on people?
Yeah, you can put a hit on people. That bird can. You can mark people. A mark token automatically gives, this was Colby's idea, automatically gives friendly units +1 to their attack. So by default is just good to mark an enemy unit. But then units will have abilities that are like, if it attacks a unit, it does this. If that unit's marked, it does something even worse, or just stuff that's just straight up like, when you destroy a marked unit, you can replace it with your summoner, so they can like kind of teleport across the board. And what's neat about it is it's very like telegraphed. It's like you're telling the other player like, this is where I'm going next. This is who I'm attacking next turn. I hope you can deal with it, before my next turn rolls around. Cool, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sounds terrifying. What about the other aspects? You mentioned a little bit about like the terrain and some of the other aspects.
Yeah.
Are there going to be scenarios? Is it going to be like just choose which terrain you want, or?
So yeah, the campaign stuff. Currently, there's a map that players are fighting over, and they're conquering territory with games of Summoner Wars. When you and another player battle each other on this map, you play a game of Summoner Wars. There's a table that you're going to roll your dice on, and that is going to allow you to have certain types of battles. So like one of them is like a glory challenge, where both players at the beginning of the game get to just put a champ straight onto the board. Or one of them will be, in a situation where the other person is like moving their units to a different starting setup. Really extreme, unbalanced stuff that's very like narrative and flavorful. And then there's terrain and stuff on the board, and those things affect your movement. There's like neutral units, like sandworms and stuff, that like when like a unit like moves or something really big happens on the board, it like warps over there and tries to eat you and stuff like that. And it just creates, we've been playing them in the office when we can, and every single time it's always been fun. We've not done one yet where I was like, well, this one's trash, which is a good sign, because usually playtesting involves playing trash more often than not trash. But the actual like scenario map I think even people who aren't interested in the campaign stuff will enjoy the terrain. And I think we want to have the ability for people to come up with their own scenario maps and stuff too, and in the community be able to go like, hey, here's a cool place to like do a fight. But there's stuff about like holding the bridge and, you know, gaining resources and defending, you know, bases and all the fun stuff that you expect in a game. And then once the game is over, there's an exploration table where you can roll some dice and you can gain some resources, and those resources play into how you can build your deck and add new abilities and skills onto your existing units. It's not something that's ever going to really supplant Summoner Wars, but I think it's something that like a group of friends who are getting together and playing for a long weekend or hanging out, I think they can have a lot of fun.
A convention, perhaps?
And a convention, great convention stuff for sure. And I also think it draws a line that as a product, I think Summoner Wars is really fascinating because in a lot of ways it has a lot of DNA of like a miniature skirmish game. And that terrain stuff and that scenario stuff, I think, is really going to underline it. And a lot of people who would love Summoner Wars have never looked at it because they see a card game and they're just like, that's not the kind of game I play. And I think this sort of product as like a Kickstarter set will really help those people see the game in a different light and give it a shot. And I think vice versa, you know, a lot of people play Summoner Wars who've never played that kind of game. I think you're going to find a lot of novel, cool, emergent storytelling that can happen in that sort of gaming.
Yeah, super cool.
I also think it'll make us a lot of money, and then when we get all the money, I'm going to go to Colby, and he's going to give me the money, and then I'm going to move to Spain.
Is there Summoner Wars in Spain yet?
Isaac Vega's in Spain a lot these days, and he's looking like he's having a good time. So I want to be doing what Isaac's doing in Spain.
Well, now that we've heard about Donald's retirement plan, James, you got any other questions for Donald, or should we cut him loose? I don't know if we want to loose him on the convention. That could be bad, but...
Y'all make me sound like Jim Belushi here. Wait, John Belushi. Wrong Belushi. Can we go around the room? Which Belushi are you? Which Belushi are you? Be honest. Not a real answer. He's a Jim? Belushi are you?
I gotta go John then. I mean...
They made that ugly ghost covered in slime. The Ghostbusters is based on him. That's a mean thing to say about your dead friend.
It's true.
All right, can I go?
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for coming on, Donald. Well, we appreciate all you guys coming to hang out for the podcast. This has been another episode of Discard for Magic, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.